Hey, oh my gosh, did you miss me? I know you did. Well, I am back and we are ready to go again. It's going to be such a fun day. The Joypreneur Summit is on in full force. We're going back to back all day, a different interview on the hour. And I'm so happy that you are here with me. Actually, I can see you in the comments. Light it up. Hi. I like your little waving emoji. That's the greatest. Yes, say hello. And let me tell you a little bit about the Joypreneur Summit before we get started. This is a summit that's going to last 4 days over the next 5-ish weeks. We've got interviews all day today with people who are building their businesses the fun, light, and easy way. You know, you've heard like you got to grind and you got to get up at 5 a.m. and you got to be everywhere and you got to work hard and work 18-hour days. No, that's not how you do it. In fact, what you'll find is you grow your business faster if you follow the feel good path. But how do you do that? Well, you're going to find out in this interview and all the interviews over the summit. So if you're not in yet, hold on, watch this magic. Check out the links in the description. Check out the links in the description and go get the agenda for today and for the rest of the summit. Plus, you get the free gifts from all of our amazing and awesome speakers, including Kristen's free gift, which I will talk about in just a minute. Now, if you're wondering, hey, I'm loving this. Who are all these cool people? I want to hang out with them more. Well, then you want to be in the Positive Mindset Entrepreneurs Club. And you know what? Limited time offering. When you join the club now, link in the description, I'm going to send you, can I see if this is actually even, here we go, this pen. This is the pen of expectation. And yes, we ship internationally. It comes in the mail. Whatever you write with this pen will come true. Ooh, yeah. All right. So join us, Positive Mindset Entrepreneurs Club. Look for the link to join the Positive Mindset Entrepreneurs Club in the description. And now, without further ado, I couldn't be more excited to introduce Kristin Carbone, who is an astrologer and cosmic coach. Now, Kristin's specialty is she works with moms of teens and tweens, and she has some really unique, interesting takes on how you can communicate with your kids better. But these same methods, we can use these as entrepreneurs. There are signals, tips, signs. We'll find out the correct terminology from Kristen, but there are clues in people's charts on what the best way to communicate with them is. And I can't wait to dig into this. I know you're as excited as I am. So without further ado, let's welcome Kristin Carbone. Woo, the crowd goes wild.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm so happy that you're here, Kristen. It's so amazing. You know, I realized after this morning's interview that it seems like every person I'm going to be talking to, I'm going to say, like, you've been in the sandbox for a long time. And do you remember a time with a mindset shift? Because really, you're really living and breathing this idea of try to live life, staying centered, leading with your happy, leading positively. I mean, can you speak to that a little bit about how your life has evolved?
Oh, absolutely. It's interesting when I think back, I have been in the sandbox for a very long time. I've been a fan for a very long time. And I started back like in, oh my gosh, like in '07, I was in a direct sales business and the upline was like, hey, we've got this, great method to help build your customer base. And they had purchased these CDs and they shared them in our upline. And, it was Dana's work and it was, your CDs and like how to use mindset. And it was really interesting. And, I took some time with it. I didn't get into it too quickly. And then I finally did. And it was right around the same time my daughter was in middle school and she was in elementary school. And she was like, she was playing the viola and she was having a hard time. And, I just used these same mindset tools that I was using for my direct sales business at the time and these mantras and, just watching the wording that I would use with her to motivate her. And it really landed. And it was just so fascinating to see that something that you could take for business, right? And,
Wow.
build your team could also be used at home with the people that you care for and the people that you love. And so that kind of started my journey,
Yeah.
from, how mindset has evolved from something that was more maybe professional avenue to something I could use in my day-to-day life.
Yeah, it's funny because I forget about that, I guess, because we do talk about it so much from an entrepreneurial standpoint. But the reality is, you're right. You can use it for everything and in every facet of your life. And in fact, I know that, you have had some challenges recently that you've been going through. And do you want to speak about that? Don't feel, let me put you on the spot, but do you
Oh,
want to talk
yeah.
about how mindset has helped you through those?
Yeah, we had some yeah, I've gone through some transformation, let's just say, in my personal life, within my home, and the transitioning of my mom. She passed as well, and it was just a lot of stress in one very confined six-month time period. And
Yeah.
I had to really lean into these tools, and, people that knew me and knew all the backstories of it, and like yourself and other people in the tribe, like, every time I showed up in a circle with you guys, you were all, like, so amazed to, witness how well I was able to stay centered and, keep flowing through it. And it was great to have. I think what was so special about that was I knew that I was doing that, and I could kind of, but I was just in movement all the time, that to have that reflection back from people that understood where I was and how I was using the tools, that was so empowering for me to continue to use those tools to get through these challenging times.
It's so nice of you to give a shout out for the club and the peeps in it. That's really cool. What do you think the benefit of that is, of feeling positive throughout it? Because obviously, if we go through something where we're grieving, or we have a setback, or we have something that makes us angry, or we have something where that happens that we're going like, why me? Why did this happen? Certainly none of us are ever suggesting that you shouldn't allow yourself to feel feelings, or to go through the process, of grieving or whatever it might be. But I know, first of all, witnessing it, you handled it with so much grace, and you had several things that were happening at once. But I'm wondering if there was anything you can speak to, whether it's entrepreneurial or personal. Why care if you feel good? Like, why care to keep yourself centered? Why bother to keep yourself centered? Why is it even important to do it, you know?
Well, I guess I come from a different, I look at it from a different lens than maybe other people might, though I think a lot of us can relate to, regardless where you're at, the law of attraction, right? We've heard so much about that. That was a big, buzzword. And it really is, in my opinion, very important to understand that we do attract what we put out there. And so if you stay in that energy of stuckness and sadness, now I'm not saying bypass it. Okay, let's remember, we need to process the emotion. So if you're not in a feel good mood, acknowledge that. It's okay to acknowledge it. But the lesson that we're trying to share with everyone, right, is that we make the conscious choice to move beyond that. And
Wow.
so, right. And once we do that, because I do a lot of energy work, I do Reiki, and a Qigong instructor as well. And of course, my astrology, all of it speaks to energy, and we attract it. So we need to shift the energy somehow. And otherwise, you're just going to keep attracting that same doom and gloom. And what fun is that?
Yeah, right? Who wants to live their life like that? And I love that wording that you use. We make a conscious decision to move beyond. That's a quotable quote. You can write that one down. Make a conscious decision to move beyond. And that really is what it is. I love that, Kristen. Now, I want to address the I guess we'll call it the elephant in the room, which is, we're going to be talking about astrology right now. If you've been listening to this channel for 5 minutes, you know that I'm a fan of the woo. I love the woo, but I think some people might be wondering, like, you work with parents and you help them look at their astrology chart and the astrology chart of their children, and you help them to use it as a tool for better communication. And so, first of all, when people are coming to you, what kind of problems are they experiencing with their teens?
So first of all, there's probably someone who, like yourself, is attracted to something that is of the woo, right? And maybe they know a little bit about astrology, or they're like, oh yeah, I know my sun sign. Like everybody knows their sun sign, right? But what they're coming to me is that's the attraction, right? They're like, "Oh, cool, this astrology stuff." And what I'm sharing is, like you said, how we can use that tool. That astrology chart gives you a map of who you are and what you came here to be, and we can also use it to understand how we interact with others. And so they're coming to me feeling very frustrated, disconnected, and it's they come in frustrated, but I believe there's this deeper sadness that they once had this deep connection with their younger children. And when the tween teen years hit, there starts to be this disconnection. The attitude shows up, the not listening, wanting to do it themselves, this individuation, if that's the right word, but you know what I mean,
Seems
like
like it to me.
individualize. Yeah, become an individual, right? They want their freedom,
I'm
basically.
down with it.
Thank you. And so, yeah, I think we understand this as parents, but in my opinion, it's the part of parenting that we tend to push underneath the rug, right? They're like, there's books on how to before you have your baby. There's books on nursing, there's books on routines when they're a toddler, how to feed them. Like there's so much information. And then they hit their school years and we think, "Oh, we can sit back a little bit. Take one hand off the wheel a little bit because like school's involved." And and yes, that's true. But then when the teen years come in and things get a little bit difficult and the hormones kick in, no one want crickets. Nobody wants to tell you. All they want to tell you is, "Oh, you'll live through it. Oh yeah, it's hard. Yep, but you'll survive. They'll come around when they're 25." Like all that, and you're going, "But I'm in it now and I don't know what to do.
Yeah, thanks
How
for
can I get them
nothing.
to talk to me?"
Right, right. Thank you for nothing. Actually, some of you I know are listening to this now and going, I need whatever she is selling. And so I want to tell you that Kristen is offering a free ebook on celestial parenting. So it's a mom's guide to the sun sign. So make sure to look in the links in the description and get her free gift because it will open your mind to a lot of things. And actually, we're going to kind of dig into some of those things right now because everything you said, I'm sure there are so many people here who can identify with what you said. And I love the way you're looking at that. Like somehow there's a loss, the loss of we used to be besties and now they care about what their friends think more than they care about what I think. And so I'm thinking about this as you're speaking, and I'm wondering if there is a shortcut, like if we go get an astrology chart for ourselves to start out with, or maybe we need an astrology chart for the children too. So clarify that first. And then, and by the way, you could get the birth date of your coaching clients and you could do the same thing with your coaching clients, by the way. But what's the magic? Like, what are we looking for and how does this work?
Yeah, so great point. Anyone can go get your birth chart for free. You can reach out to me. I offer giving, if you want to reach out to me, I do that for you. I can just send you your birth chart and you can look at it. And I go through really quick. And like I said, I do this as a gift to anyone on top of the celestial parenting ebook, which you can use that ebook for people that you're in relationship with, whether it be a client or someone that you're working with in a business partnership, right? We all have a sun sign. We all operate in a certain way, right? So there's that. And in astrology, if you're in the woo, you know that there's your big three, and your big three are your sun, there's your moon sign, and then what's called a rising sign. And I break that down for people. And so that digs us deeper because if you probably know, we've all probably looked in the newspaper back in the day or online, right? Your horoscope for I'm a Capricorn. So I look under my Capricorn horoscope and I read it and I go, well, yeah, that's like not it doesn't always land, right? That's because the birth chart has so much more in it. So yes, we can look at specific little things. And one of the tips that I use, or part of the tools, is I look at your moon sign so I understand where you are emotionally and where your child is emotionally, right? Because connection and communication really starts from how can we emotionally feel safe with each other, right? If I don't feel safe in this um, environment or in this container, then I'm not going to open up. But I feel safe with Dana. Like there's a relationship, of course, but there was this connection, there was this safety that has been built through the years. So I'm open to share what I have. And so that's one part. The other part that I find really fascinating, and this is where you really do need someone to really coach you through your astrology chart, unless you're someone that is self-taught, which is great. You want to look at your Mercury sign. And because we look at Mercury, because that now is about the way we think, the way we communicate. And so if you're in a relationship, right, and the connection is not working or you're not able to communicate, you know, maybe you're like, I like to use the analogy of maybe you're just not speaking their communication language, right? We know love languages, but there's this communication um, language that if we understand it, then we can pivot, we can come at somebody in a way that they'll then open up to us. So I find that those two things are really key, and those are part of my teachings that I do in my master class. And then the third part of my master classes, I also talk about mindset. It's about understanding for from a teen standpoint, from our children's standpoint, how the brain is being developed and understanding that part. So I call them my 3 M's. So
I
that's
love that.
it.
I love that. Yeah, that was an eye opener for me too. I know some of you might be wondering, if you're fans of this channel, you might be like, Dana, you're all about science and the brain. And how could you be thinking that astrology is real and all this? And so I just want to say that I am really logical and really practical. And for me, when I thought about the way the planets influence everything else on this earth, especially the bodies of water, like think about how the tides flow with the moon and all of these different things that the planets influence on planet Earth,
Mhm.
I kind of thought to myself, it's kind of the height of humans' arrogance to think that it affects everything else on the planet except us. So for me, it's just kind of practical. It makes sense. It's logical that we would be influenced by these things that also influence everything else on the planet. Can you speak a little bit about how maybe you have a transformation story of somebody who knew, learned about this information and then it improved their communication or improved their dynamic? Can you think of a case? Again, I don't want to put you on the spot, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I was I was in a mastermind with a woman who I became very close with. And she's a psychiatrist and she's got young kids, and she does have some understanding of energy. She does do Reiki as well, so she's open, so that was important. And yet she was struggling. Her daughter was having some issues at school, and she had a reading with me, and it was just understanding how does she think and what would serve her better, and being able to target that. Mom was able to go back and make some adjustments, and make some changes with the school as well, and that really helped her and her daughter. It helped her daughter from a learning um, standpoint, as well as obviously from the relationship as well. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
cool. I love
Yeah.
that. And
Mhm.
so, if somebody was listening now and they wanted to just poke around and do this as a shortcut, what is my communication style? And they went and they got their chart and they figured out where their Mercury is or something
Mhm.
like that. Like, what would be the first step for them for understanding how
Yeah.
they communicate? Or is it better to go from a sun sign, because everybody listening probably knows their sun sign? Like, you tell me which is the best advice you can give right now to give people a starting point.
I think the sun sign just is a good starting point because we can all look at that. And that just kind of is how you shine. In the way I look at the sun is that's our heart, that rules our heart. That's how we shine, excuse me, how we shine in the
Shine, yeah, like
world,
the
right?
sun,
It's the
right?
sun, right?
Yeah.
And you can even just look up the sign that it's in. And I even people that don't know astrology very well, I really keep it to the basics. I look at what your sun sign is. I'm a Capricorn sun. So my sun sign is in Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth. So then I look at, okay, what element is it? Because we have 4 elements in our, each sign is in an element, and there's 4 elements that we look at. So we have earth, fire, air, and water. So even just understanding that I'm an earth sun, I'm a very practical person. That's like, you say that you're logical. Well, that when you say that to me, that makes me immediately go, well, I want her Mercury she might have some earth energy, like to make her very practical and logical. There's some, and so you could start even there. And then you understand what the signs are. Like a Capricorn it's the sea goat is the symbol. It climbs the mountain. It's trying to reach its goal. Like that's its job. And so I may come across to people when they first meet me, I may come across as not that I'm not friendly, but I'm all about business, right? Let's get to work. And I'm the girl at the party that's like, I'm always cleaning up. I'm the cleanup crew. Like,
So let's do a little quick thing of where I'll give you. So the earth signs: Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo, right? We're missing
Taurus,
one.
Capricorn,
Virgo.
Virgo. I know you put me on
No,
the
is that
spot. I was
right? No, that's
wait,
right. Those are earth because there's 4 of each.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, earth signs. So
yes.
what does how is earth in the world? Give people just like a real quick couple of
Yeah, so
sentences, like if
Earth in
you're
the
earth.
world is the practical, very practical energy. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're very grounded, they're very
Okay.
stable energy.
Grounded.
Okay,
Yeah, that
grounded,
makes
right? Think
sense.
Earth, right?
Okay. Air is Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, right?
Yes.
Okay. Air signs, how are they in the world?
So I like to air signs are they're very mental. They can be very mental. Air signs are very mental, I guess is what I would say
Yeah,
about the air
communication.
signs. Yeah, there's always something, like think of the wind, right? The wind, how it always is changing. So they can be very changeable too. They have this mutableness about them as well. So
Right.
yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're thinkers and learners, right? I mean,
Yeah, they're
we've got a
very energetic.
sandbox of
Yeah.
learners. Yeah, but
Hmm.
thinkers in their head, right?
Hmm.
Okay, fire signs: Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. Fire.
So fire is the initiator. They're the creative people. So the interesting thing is, the air signs really work well with the fire signs, right? Because how do we use air to build the flame, right? There's that connectiveness. And this is just deeper stuff in the
Yeah.
astrology, but we do look at that. That's where it goes back to. You can look up your horoscope in the online and be like, well, that doesn't sound like me. Well, that's probably because there's other things, other planets talking to your sun sign. And depending how they're talking, are they talking in flow, meaning fire and air working well together, or are they working a little bit not in flow, which makes things a little bit more challenging?
Right. Fire, the spark.
The
The
spark,
spark, right?
they're creative, they're
That's right.
passionate
Yeah.
people. Yeah,
So
they're
then
excitable.
so then water. We've got Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. So if you're in any of these, water. Let's hear it.
And so your water signs are very intuitive people. They can be extremely emotional and intense. Um, and yeah, I think that would be a good way to explain them.
Wasn't that fun? Which one are you? Put your sign in the comments.
Yeah.
We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. We won't judge you. I promise. Put your sign
Because
in the comments.
it's only a piece of the picture. Like that's
That's
the other
right.
thing.
That's right. Yeah, it's interesting though when you start to think about it. It's kind of funny because I think too that when you start to understand yourself and you understand other people better, not only does your communication become easier, but for me anyway, it feels like it's easier to have more compassion. It's easier to have more understanding. You can see why people act from certain places, why they behave certain ways. And so it just seems like I don't know, you love people more because you love them for who they are and you love yourself for who you are rather than beating up on yourself because, oh, I'm fire sign and I've got that spark and I'm always interjecting or I'm doing this. Like you realize like, okay, no, it's okay just to love myself for who I am. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to add about that communication? Because I also want to get your best tip for mindset too.
Yeah. So the communication really, it comes down to I working with my clients, I really coach them through having their own self-love and compassion. Like I at first when I started this, I really came from, well, let's fix the fix the child sort of thing. But really when you learn about personal development of any kind, it really starts with us. And so we have to take care of ourselves. So we have to understand us first. So that's why when I do these, we do look at the mom's chart. We look at you as the individual. And then, like you said, who is the other person in the room, right? If it's a child or a partner or a business partner or someone that you're coaching with, you could bring them in and look at it. But
I love
yeah, so
that.
that it really starts there.
I love all of that. And so on this kind of closing note, if somebody is new to playing with mindset or to self-love or self-compassion, is there any advice you'd give them? Like, is there a daily practice or something where you'd say, do this and it will really change your life?
Yeah, absolutely. I will say that I start out every morning with some sort of mantra. So I do. I do my mindset mantra.
That's
Whether I,
great.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna dig out your favorite mantras here. Hold on, I've got them. You tell me if you wanna add to these. Everything is working out in my favor. Love it. I'm grateful for the abundance in my life. I'm grateful to co-create my dream life by living my life now in joy. Wow, that's really powerful. I love those. So you start
yeah.
out by saying those and really feeling them and living your
Yeah, absolutely, for
yeah.
sure.
Okay,
And
great.
that really, right, that just sets the day, the tone for the day. And then, of course, because I love the astrology, something that everyone can do. It's a really easy tip, and you could follow me or look it up and find it anywhere. Other people do this as well. I look at where's the moon for the day. The moon is our emotions. It changes every 2.5 days. And, it's helpful to just kind of know what the energy is. It's just a different way of reading the energy for the day. And so then I can look at what I have for the day ahead. If you're that person, sometimes if you're an air sign, you might not have that planned out. You might be like flying by the seat of your pants, but that's okay. Um, yeah, so you can look at where the moon is. Like today, the moon is in Capricorn. Today is a great day to do some work. It's a great day to work on your list. It's
To
perfect
launch a
for doing
summit.
to launch a summit, right? It's the entrepreneur. It rules entrepreneur. Like it's just perfect. So that's the other piece of advice, and that was one of the things that I started to do when my daughter became a tween. That was kind of my how I started to pull in the astrology, was looking at, okay, where's the moon at? Where are we emotionally? And just like we talked about the elements, right? It's an earth sign. It's a practical energy today. Whereas if it were a water sign, we might be really like, our hearts would be maybe a little bit more open, and we'd be talking about more, gushy things, right? Very emotional stuff in this conversation. Whereas today it might be it's more like, these are some practical tips.
Practical.
Exactly. So
Oh,
those are
that's
my
fun.
those are my
Those are
advices,
great
my
tips.
my
That's I
tips.
love that too. And tracking the moon is kind of such an easy little thing to do. You can get free apps to do it, and it's kind of a fun little easy thing to do. And I find for myself, then I can either blame the astrology for the good things or blame the astrology for the bad things. So
Go
you
for
can
it.
leverage it. Like you can go, oh, today's a Capricorn day, so I'm gonna really kick some butt.
Yeah,
Like you can really
absolutely.
leverage with that knowledge. So, Kristen, this was so fun. Thank you
It's
so
great.
much for spending time with us. I enjoyed this so much. We could just go on and on, couldn't we?
We could. We sure could. And I just appreciate you all. I appreciate the community that we're in the sandbox is so helpful for me. So yeah, I have to give a
Well,
shout back out to you for that as well. So that's where, it's good to have people always, you feel like somebody's supporting you, right? It's the same thing that I do with my coaching, right? If I'm here to support my moms, I need someone to support me too. So
Oof, truth, right? Put your own oxygen mask on first. How good was that, right? Don't we agree? Show some love for Kristen in the comments. Give us some woohoos. I know you enjoyed that. And it's so fun with astrology. It's the tip of the iceberg. And really thinking, how can we use this when we're communicating with the people in our lives, whether they're teens or whether they're younger kids or whether it's our partners or whether it's our clients. Remember to go get Kristen's free gift. You can look at the link. Oh, hang on. I got my fancy banner here. Let's use it. You can look at the link in the description to get not only her free gift, but all the gifts from all the different speakers today and for the whole rest of the summit. Think of all the good stuff that you can pick and choose from. Plus, if that isn't enough, we have people sponsoring the summit. And so you will also get access to their free stuff. For example, today we have April Bailey, who's got a productivity decoder for you. Want to be more productive? Hey, definitely get that link in the description and opt in for the summit so that you can get access to all of this goodness. And remember, when you become a member of the Positive Mindset Entrepreneurs Club, you get the expectation pen in the mail. Yes, we ship internationally. You get this pen and everything you write with it will come true. Ooh, don't you just love that? That's the power of intention. That's the power of your brain. When we are on next, which will be the top of the hour, I'm coming back. We're doing this all day. I will be talking to Diane Kokoris. And Diane is a holistic health expert, and she has so many different talents and ways that she can help people holistically. But her jam is really getting embodied with your emotions. And she's going to give us so many awesome, amazing tips. Oh, I can't wait for that. I know you can't either. Remember, keep this on in the background. Share it with your friends. Tell everybody I'm here all day, same bat channel. I will see you shortly. I'm so happy you're here. Mwah. See you in 30 minutes, everybody. Bye.